Good afternoon, everyone. We're now going to be starting the webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll go through some speaker introductions in a second, but firstly, thank you for taking the time to register and taking your time out of the day. So we're going to give you a lot of information in this next hour, so please bear with us. If you have to drop out anytime, do not worry, you will be sent a recording afterwards. We understand people are often doing multitasking when watching our webinar sessions, but very much looking forward to imparting a huge amount of information to you today. So without further ado, today's session, Lunch and Learn session 2, we are planning more, I should let you know, so hopefully we'll be one at the end of April as well. But session 2 is all about unleashing the power of Leica Cyclone, CloudWorks, TruView and JetStream for your reality capture projects. And that is the journey that we're going to take you on today. We know there's a huge mix of new and existing users on the session today. So really, fundamentally, I have to balance what I'm talking about with the mix that says going to be some new people and existing customers. But what you will take from this session is that entire journey from capturing data out in the field, processing the data and delivering data. So we're going to go through step by step and make sure we cover all bases and all the new features, plus some really, really nice little secrets that we'll keep till the end. So we will, obviously, this is the introduction. We're going to have a speaker introduction to everyone who is involved in the presentation today. Then we're going to go into looking at Cyclone Field 360 and the new capability of publishing to TruView Cloud. So Cyclone Field 360 we can talk about more in a minute. Then we're going to talk about Cyclone Register 360 and our new BLK edition and the various new features that we've added in those releases, so our 2020 releases in Q1. Then we're going to look at some brief updates to Cyclone Register as part of our Cyclone Core Suite. So I know from the attendees list, there's a lot of existing Cyclone Register users, so please bear with us as we bring those updates to you. Then we have a very, very significant change to the way that we publish our data out into our various deliverables, such as TruView, JetStream, and LGS. So we're going to look at the old model and the new model. Make sure we explain that to you very, very clearly, and as a takeaway, ensure that you're in a position to migrate from your existing licenses to the new model, and we'll explain more of that through the presentation. Then we've got a fantastic demo from Nathan Savory, so I'll give an intro to Nathan in a bit around the CloudWorks family updates, and then we normally have one more thing. Today we have two more things. So please bear with us till the end, because these are, I've been very, very kindly allowed to talk about two brand new things which no one else in the world has seen or heard yet, apart from obviously us internally. And I think you'll be really excited about those two announcements, and they feed into everything that we're going to be talking about today. So please bear with us till the end of the presentation, and then we'll have a Q&A. What I will add is that very kindly, Klaus Reicher, who was on the last presentation with me, the last Lunch and Learn session, he will be answering as many questions as he can during this session. Now, we do have, I think, a record-breaking number of people attending, so we will just try and get through those as best as possible. If you don't get an answer at all, we will try and follow up and respond after the event, but we are expecting a large number of questions throughout. But just use the panel on the right-hand side of your screen, the Go to Webinar, go to the Questions tab and ask any questions you have throughout the presentation. So the speakers today, myself, Paul Burrows. I don't really need to introduce too much if you've seen these before. Been with Leica for 13 years. Been using laser scanning since 2003, which seems like an eternity now. I actually did my Bachelor of Science degree in archaeology. Did a bit of computer animation and visualization and kind of merged all together, and now work in a business development role for scanning. And this is Nathan. So Nathan might be new to you, but he's an up-and-coming star within the organization. And Nathan is, as I said, with Leica Geosystems, he is our survey and reality capture account manager in the north of England. He's got 7 years in the AEC industry. He's a qualified architectural technologist, and he started using point clouds in that architectural technologist role. So he's got lots of experience with BIM, completely overshadows my knowledge in that regard. So this is why we've involved him today. And he helps customers find end-to-end solutions. And Nathan has been instrumental in some amazing sales over the last 12 months. He's not been with us, I think he's been with us since 2018, so coming up 2 years now. But Nathan, thank you. And obviously Klaus in the background helping with answering questions. And thank you to Abby Knowles from the UK for organising this session as well. So firstly, we'll start, this is mainly for the new guys out there. This is how we view reality capture within Leica Geosystems. So we have everything on the left-hand side with the new BLK to go handheld mobile mapping system. The BLK 360, the smallest imaging scanner on the market. Then we have the RTC 360, 2 million points per second, high dynamic range imagery, this Viz solution, automatic registration in the field. Our engineering scan stations, we have UAV platforms, the ABOT platform for our UAV data capture, and then we have other mobile mapping technology such as Pegasus for sitting on vehicles, and also the Pegasus backpack, which is wearable reality capture technology. But all of these products collect point clouds, they collect imagery, and we then have a funnel of software and technology to allow you to deliver results off the back of that, process that data, register that data, and then create the end results. So these are the steps that we look at: the preparation step or collection step. Then we obviously want to register that data and create a cohesive project. So we may have multiple scans or multiple walks from the BLK to go. We merge them together, and then we want to share that data amongst our organization or other stakeholders in order to view it, work on it, create additional deliverables. And on the back end, that's where we then consume that data in CAD packages such as Revit or AutoCAD or BricsCAD, for example, or MicroStation, and then deliver that data out to the end users and the end customers. And delivery can be as much as, you know, a 3D model, a BIM model. It could be a TruView, it could be a JetStream point cloud as an LGS file that you share with the customer. So this is just to give you an overall picture of our product suite. So today I'm going to use this as a touchstone slide to bring us back each time to see where we are on that journey. So the first thing, obviously, we cover a lot of markets, so in particular the RTC, construction, industrial plant, public safety. They're the kind of key domains, with construction growing incredibly quickly right now, with construction verification and as-built checks. That is a huge part of our business. So we have the scanning side. Now, this could be the RTC, or in this particular scenario, could be also the BLK 360 paired with Cyclone Field 360. So Cyclone Field 360 is an app which runs on iOS and Android phones and tablets. And you can basically view the data, view the data, you can check the data, and then you can add any geotags or assets directly to the data. It's completely optional. You can use both the BLK or the RTC without it, but there is field communication wirelessly to that device. Then we obviously have the office communication side. So the RTC, you have a USB stick. You just take the USB stick and we download that data into Register or Register 360. What we're going to talk about today is this optional step of uploading directly from Cyclone Field 360 to TruView Cloud. And TruView is our almost like I suppose it's a panoramic photo viewing platform, but you can view different layers, you can take measurements, you can have snapshots, you can view all the geotags, so you'll see that as part of the presentation anyway. But you can also upload directly to TruView Cloud from Cyclone Register 360 as well, but this is a really new advancement. And then further downstream, we push that data, publish that data out into our other different packages. So we can then open up our Cyclone core suite of products. We can push data out to JetStream. So JetStream is a server technology that allows you to store all your point cloud centrally, host that on an internal server or even a web server, and then share that point cloud with a multitude of people. That data can then be read into various other packages, you know, CAD and JetStream Viewer and the like. TruView, as I've already discussed, and CloudWorks, which Nathan is going to go into detail. So this is the slide, this is our starting point, and this is the journey we're going to look at today to get from the field into the office and to delivery of the data. So firstly, we're going to start with Field 360 update. So as I said, you can see here the image of it running on a phone, runs on a tablet. So this is the part of the story that we're at now. And I've got a nice little video to demonstrate that. So I'm just going to run through this video now. So here's the RTC 360. We would scan with the RTC 360. We have a wireless connection to our devices. We can check that data, and then we can automatically upload that data to TruView Cloud from the device, and then consume that TruView Cloud data from, again, another multitude of different platform agnostic devices as well. So that is the general overview, and this is how it looks in terms of the product. So you've got you're working on Cyclone Field 360 on your tablet, and you've connected all your scans together. And you can see here, this is just probably a couple of RTC 360 scans with links between all the positions. And all you do is click on the bundle, as you would ordinarily if you want to rename a job or delete a job, and you just use the publish to TruView function. And then that allows you to input your TruView Cloud information, so your username and password. And then once you're logged in, You can see the portals, so you can create portals per customer, for example. So you can, customer 1, 2, 3, 4, or different jobs and different sites. And you can also see the number of scan positions available on your TruView Cloud account. So admittedly, 4,700 positions is a lot, but I know a lot of people are doing jobs that I've been talking to are doing 20,000 positions within a given job, because jobs are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So TruView Cloud, what we're doing as well, I should note, is we're only uploading a small portion of the data. It's not the full data set. It's what we call a lightweight preview object, LWPO. So it's not the full data, and I'll show you how that looks in a second. And then once we hit publish, it starts to upload directly from the device. And these files are much, much smaller than the full data set once we process that further downstream. So this little video here just shows that process we've uploaded. Then we jump into TruView Cloud, and we can go to the account that we're working in. And then this is data that's been uploaded directly from Cyclone Field 360. You can see all the information. Now, what you'll notice is the little markers are gray rather than red. And that is indicative that they haven't been fully optimized yet. So this is just an unoptimized registration. But what you can do is any assets, you can see that you're able to open that asset, and then from this other view you're able to click on the image and see that directly. As before I said, it's not just about having the photos, it's about having all the different layers, the pano layers, the intensity information directly built into that. So that is Cyclone Field 360 and upload to TruView Cloud, which I think you will find very, very useful. So now we're going to move on to Register 360 2020. So it's the new naming convention. We're now moving to yearly release, not yearly releases, but yearly naming conventions with point releases, so that you know where you are as a customer. So again, on this journey, this is where we are, Cyclone Register 360. So we're in the office stage now, and we're getting the data registered and prepared for publishing further downstream. So we have a new version of Cyclone Register 360, which is called the BLK edition. And a lot of people have been asking me about this, so I just wanted to make sure that you're aware, before we move through the rest of the presentation, the differences between the products. So the BLK edition can import data from the BLK to go and the BLK 360, and that is it. It can't import any other data type. So that's how it's locked down. You can export RCP data without the need for an additional license from the BLK edition. And you can augment that Cyclone Register 360 BLK edition with other licenses in order for you to be able to publish TruView or JetStream data. So using our new Cyclone Publisher or Publisher Pro licenses. But there is no, this is critical as well, there is no upgrade path to Cyclone Register 360. So if you want to invest in the BLK edition, that's it, you're locked down, you're only working with BLK to go and BLK 360 data. If you want to open the floodgates, if you will, to all other different data types, then Reg 360 is going to be your starting point. So it can import data from all the Leica reality capture sensors, such as the RTC, the BLK series, the ScanStation P series and C series, which a lot of you on this call I know are using. But we can also import Faro data and ZFS data as well, with some slight limitation with Faro, for example, around the panoramic imagery, but certainly we can get the data in and work with it very quickly. We can import E57 files, registered or unregistered, which is fantastic if it's coming from another open data source. But Cyclone Publisher, as a minimum, is required for RCP export, which is not included by default. And we'll talk about Cyclone Publisher later. But of course, you can still augment Reg 360 with additional licenses to create TruViews and JetStream, much like you can with the other version. So that's just to give you an overview of those two products. So also, this is just announced the other day, every BLK 360 now being sold, every new one will come with, will be bundled with a version of Reg 360 BLK edition. What that means, what that does is facilitates up to 5 licenses of Cyclone Field 360 on your tablet or phone devices as well. So now you've got a complete ecosystem built around the Leica Geosystems products, but with a clear connectivity into the Autodesk suite using the RCP export from the BLK edition as well. So if you want to continue with that workflow, opening up the RCP file in various Autodesk packages, then you can, but I think that's a really important piece of information. So Reg 360, first up, BLK to go integration. So this, if you haven't seen the BLK to go, it's a handheld mobile mapping device. You turn it on, you press a button, you start walking, you have the BLK to go live app as an optional extra if you want, and you can start collecting data. So what you can see here is the scan positions, sorry, not the scan positions, these are waypoint markers along the trajectory which are created at the point of import. And I'll show you that live in a second in a demo. These little new marker icons, instead of the old yellow cheese heads, can be changed in size. You've got this setup radius option within the settings, so you can change those up to 1 meter in size within your view, if you would like to. But the data, in terms of downloading data from the BLK to go into Reg 360, you can use the USB-C cable, or you can use Wi-Fi, and that will allow you to connect directly to the device. And at the point of import, you have 2 options. You can import the data into Reg 360, and then you can do more stuff. So maybe you've got 4 or 5 walks that you want to register together. If you've got 1 walk and all you want is maybe an E57 export, there's a tick box which allows you to export just the E57 without doing any import to Reg 360, which might be interesting for some of you. So that's BLK to go integration. Then we've got new ortho image export from Register 360. So I'm going to show this tool live in a second, but it allows you to do obviously facades, plan views, but also very quick cross-section views with a scale bar. And this publishes not only an image file, but it also publishes a DXF file. And we'll go through that process, and then you open the DXF, it references the images. So if you're using maybe a lower end CAD package or something that doesn't support point clouds, or you want to very quickly send a quick cross section across to someone who can open it in a CAD package without needing a full point cloud, that is where you can use this feature. But it's super easy to use, and it's really, really quick in terms of generating a deliverable like you can see on the screen now. Now, the smooth surface tool, again, we're going to demo this in a minute, but this allows you to very quickly clean the point cloud and analyze data above a ground surface. So for those of you who've used Register back in the day, Cyclone Register, we've always had this smooth surface tool. This now does it within Reg 360. It's very, very quick and allows you to rapidly get rid of any noise or information. In particular with BLK to go, where you're walking through perhaps a crowded area and want to get rid of people or cars, it's a really nice workflow. In Reg 360, also now I'll show this, but we can export by limit box and setup. This is controlled by the Publisher Pro license, but we can now publish those limit boxes out, and we can also select setups. So that's something that a lot of people have asked. So if you've created limit boxes within Register 360, you can see we've got these little check boxes just here. You can say export, and when you hit publish by limit box, it will allow you to choose which ones you want. If you are creating an LGS file, the LGS file will contain limit boxes that you can turn on or off anywhere, but you can't specifically export by them for LGS or JetStream data or TruView data. But that, I think, is going to be very, very useful for a lot of people. And also improved RCP export. So there was a 2 billion point limitation, which has been removed. We're working closely with Autodesk in terms of their SDK to make sure that we've got the best workflow. But you must ensure you have the correct amount of temporary space. So on this basis, it's about 30 gigabytes per billion points that you're exporting, and it's a specially designated temp drive that Autodesk specify. We can give you the link to that if you need it, but you must ensure you have that space. Also, I would say at this point, if there is an error, we give you an error report up front. So if there is an issue with the export, then you'll know it. So you can change accordingly, which is nice. This is included in both Cyclone Publisher and Publisher Pro. And again, it's included by default within Cyclone Register 360 BLK edition only. And we can look at the publishing landscape in a second. So now I'm going to jump across into Register 360. So again, this is all live, guys. If anything goes wrong, give me some grace. I am just now going to jump into this data set. And what you can see here, this is a BLK data set that was generated by one of my colleagues who happens to have a rather nice Nissan GTR in his drive. Yeah, very, very jealous of it. It's a lovely, lovely car, lovely little house. And what you can see here, this is BLK to go data. And you can see you've got all those setup markers that I said before. So we've got rid of the yellow cheese heads. Plus we've got all the asset markers. So anything that's been collected with that 12 megapixel camera from the BLK to go, they will also be directly included. So yeah, a Nissan GTR and a Corvette. Look, there you go, two very nice cars. So that is the data. I'm just going to show you in the settings tab here under the rendering. You can see now if I change this, the setup radius, and apply, you can see that changing. I've got it typically set to around 50, and that looks quite nice. Close that down. So what we can do is we can jump to any one of these scan positions. So I'm going to just jump to this corner here, and I've turned off transition animations. So that's a nice little tip for you guys. If anyone's working in Reg 360, is this turn this animations off. It looks great, but it speeds up your workflow massively if you turn that off, because you just jump between your positions. So what we're looking at now is these panoramic images. I'll turn off the point cloud. These are the panoramic images that have been collected by the BLK2Go. So those 3 cameras that are taking photos. And at any point in time, obviously, as you can just jump between these positions very, very quickly to navigate your project. I think probably in the garage at that point. There you go. So that is that data set there. We can see the point cloud as well. I can turn off the images if needs be, and obviously I can go back into the full 3D mode. But what I'm going to do first is generate this ortho image. So we've got these new viewing tools now. We've got top, right, left, down, you know, your standard CAD tools, but that's something that was missing. If I just press T, you've got the hotkey to go into the top-down view, but I'm just going to go into the front view because I want to do a very, very quick slice through this building to show you this new ortho function. So these are the 2 new functions here. You've got smooth surface, which is this one, and you've got the ortho image here. And I'm just going to click create ortho image, and you can see that pops up and invokes this little window. And all you need to do is draw a reference line, choose your section thickness, and then choose your output so you can see the folder. I've got it going to images. You can choose your image scale, so you can basically increase the quality or decrease the quality accordingly. If you want any kind of smoothing on your point cloud and your image that comes out. Now I tend to leave it on none or low. They do work. You know, high is very, very nice, but sometimes it takes away some of the crispness of the edges. So I tend to keep it on none or low. And then we've got a fantastic option to be able to include a scale bar, and you can include that at the top or the bottom of the image. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw a reference line. What's really nice is if I start over here and I just draw it diagonally, it will always ping back to the top. So however I do that, it will always ping back. But what I'm going to do is just draw a section roughly through this floor, through this building. So we create a floor plan, and we're going to say we want a 10 centimeter section. So now the create section file option has been ungraded because we've drawn our reference line. We hit create section file, and that will now very, very quickly, you'll see the taskbar zip across, create our DXF and our file that we can open up in CAD. So that's just a quick preview. That's not the example. You can't zoom in or anything on this. We just say accept. Now, if I just go to my folder here, I've now got this new Slice 75 DXF. And if I just open that up in CAD, there you go. I'll close this down. Oops, sorry, jump back to CAD. Jump back to CAD, there you go. So that is the ortho image that we have just created automatically. So you can imagine a customer says, I want to slice at this point. Well, you don't have to send them the data, you don't have to export anything, you don't have to send a point cloud with a limit box. Just quickly send them that ortho image directly out of Reg 360, and even you can start digitizing over this directly. So I personally feel that is a fantastic new feature for you guys to get your teeth into. Now, the next thing that I would like to show you very quickly is the smooth surface solution. So what you can see here, we've got a couple of bits of detritus in the garden. We've got trees and bits and pieces. We can get rid of all of this if we want to. Now, what I'm going to do is I just click the smooth surface button, and the point cloud turns grey. And what we can, so this is done like a pre-process to kind of analyze the point cloud before we do this. But what I now do is if I click on the floor surface, I just double click. That's now doing detect smooth surface. So everything now above the ground surface will be marked red. And again, I'm doing this all real time. So this is now showing you everything that it thinks is above that ground surface. So if I just say hide all marked, you can see now all of that data very, very quickly disappears. But if I want to specifically drill down and delete something, so I think there's a bit of data here that I potentially want to get rid of, I just press the F key to draw a fence, and I just draw a box over that area. That will now highlight, and I can just say delete inside or delete outside. So if I just say delete inside, you'll see that's now going to clean the points. And if I just rotate around, you can see that that noise has been removed. So we'll just do that one more time, maybe around this side. I've got some trees on this side, but obviously this is grass, so it's a little bit harder to detect. So just go back into plan view, and we will just draw, this time we use a polygonal fence, and we'll just go like this around the tree area. Boom, done. And we'll just say delete inside, and then that shouldn't take too long at all. Now, if you do delete the points and you don't, and you actually want them back, there you go, there's the clean data, okay, with a couple of bits of the grass gone. But if you do want them back, you can click on the bundle. You can multi-select these, and you can say restore deleted points, and you can restore visual points, cloud to cloud, or both. directly from there as well. So that's those features. I think that's pretty much it. There's probably one other thing which I wanted to show you. Oh, the export function. So let me just open this other project here. I think this is this one here. I'm going to close this project. Okay, so you can see how quickly the project opens up, which is nice. We're just in that data set now. And what you can see here, this is already registered. So we've got some scans that are colorized, you've got some that are grayscale, but all of the red markers have come through and you can see all the scans. So I've used this quite a lot in my demonstrations because it's a really nice data set. We can obviously see that data in the point cloud, but you've got all of your links already established. You've got your registration, your bundle error. But what you can do now is you can effectively you can actually show your you can actually say show suggested links within bundle. Okay, so if I now click show suggested links within bundle, you can now see all the additional links that the software will try and run through in order to tighten up that registration any further. Now, what that means is this will basically, it's like the auto add cloud to cloud constraints wizard that we used to have in Cyclone Register. This will try and just find as many connections with other scan positions as possible. But what we can do now, just for those who are power users, we've actually changed the maximum number. So this can, I think, go up to about 500 now. So the maximum suggested links per bundle. This used to be capped around 50. So just so you've got that takeaway from today, if you want to now, you can put that up to 500, for example, and press OK. But in this instance, we've got, it's a limited number of scans anyway, so we're not going to see those. What we can do from here at this point, I'm going to just go to the accept stage. So I'm just going to go to the final publishing step if I wanted to publish any data out. Now, if I click E57, so I'm going to say E57, I'll just save it out to a generic location. I can now choose to select my setups or select by limit box. If I click select setups, you can then choose which ones you want to export. So I can just tick those off and I say, right, I just want 1, 2, 3. And under publish limit box, I can now see any limit boxes which I've created. So small building limit box 1, and I can just check those 2 which I want to export. And that will then only export the content of the limit boxes, which is, a lot of you may break that down by floor, for example, or whatever, but that will then be exported into that file type. So that is basically everything pretty much that I wanted to show you in Reg 360 in terms of updates. So if we just jump back to the presentation. Okay, so Cyclone Core 2020. So this is really nice. This is group visual alignment. So we already have visual alignment tools in Reg 360. We've got the visual alignment tool in Cyclone, but this now allows you to take very, very large groups very quickly together to be able to merge them. So this video demonstrates it perfectly. Basically, you've got 2 groups here. So rather than have to do cloud to cloud between a couple of random scans, all you're doing is just going to move those scans together. And this is using, as I said, there's probably 50 or 60 scans in each of these data sets by the looks of it, maybe more. And you're just using the visual alignment tools. And once you've done your rough visual alignment, you can do this in plan view, you can do this in side view to make sure the elevation is correct. Then you would just run optimization and it would go through and do all the cloud to cloud adjustments to give you a perfectly registered data set. So that's how easy it is to use the group visual alignment tool in Cyclone Core. So I'm sure there's, as I know from the customer list attending today, there's an awful lot of people who are already using Cyclone Register. So hopefully you'll find that feature very, very nice in the new 2020 version. Something else which has been asked for in Cyclone Core, we have the True Slicer tool in Reg 360, which is really nice just to very quickly do a slice in X, Y, and Z, change the slice thickness, change the slice position, and you can very quickly go through and make sure that the registration is working as intended. So what we've done is we've added that feature into a Cyclone Core as well. So under the registration tools, you can now do a QA quick slice, choose your X, Y, or Z, and then as you can see now, as we zoom into this point cloud, you can start seeing how that data set has been brought together and is registered correctly. So if you need to go in and make any adjustments or any changes, I think a lot of you will find this this tool very, very useful, because a lot of people were working on cut planes and manual cuts and fencing to do this analysis, and there's an option to randomize colors by setup, but this just puts it in one handy tool, very, very similar to True Slice. Okay, so this now is incredibly important. Again, Cyclone Publisher family updates. So a lot of you are already pushing data out into other consuming packages. So where does that publishing step sit? So the publishing step sits, or the license resides, in Reg 360 BLK edition or Cyclone core, and then it allows you to push data out into these other locations. In particular, in this one, out to JetStream dataset, JetStream Enterprise, out to TruView Cloud or TruView Enterprise, and out into formats which can be read into CloudWorks, such as LGS or JetStream. So this is what we're going to cover now. We're going to talk about Publisher and Publisher Pro and the new publisher landscape that you need to understand as we go forward. Okay, so the Leica Cyclone publisher family is being simplified. That's all you really need to know. So in the past, we had product-specific publishers, which meant if you wanted to publish TruView, use TruView Publisher. If you wanted to do JetStream, JetStream Publisher. Publisher Pro is kind of an amalgamation with the addition of Panoramic Export, RCP, and LGS. That's now changing. Okay, so now we will move to content-based publishing using Publisher and Publisher Pro only. Okay, and I'm going to explain now effectively what that difference means to you and a migration path for you as you move forward. So Publisher Pro, Publisher, we want seamless consumption of our Leica reality capture data. We have one publisher in two sizes, so obviously standard and Pro, and we want to move towards this complete project in a single simple file. And what I mean by that, and what I've been talking about on LinkedIn and social media over the past few weeks in the run up to this session, is our LGS format file, which we're now going to talk a little bit about what that contains, how we make them, and where it can be consumed. So an LGS file is this singular file. It contains all the project sitemaps and metadata. It contains all the point cloud information and any metadata, all the geotags and assets for any project within that LGS file, all the setup information, so all the panoramic imagery, or the HDR imagery, and also any project metadata itself. So simple, it's got the registration report in there, for example. It's got the project owner, a thumbnail related to the project. So the LGS file is a single source of truth that you can hand around to anyone else. You can password protect it as well. You can even load an LGS back to a JetStream Enterprise server if you want to, but it's a very, very important file to us. And it will make sense when you start seeing what Nathan is going to do with that file as well. So an LGS file can be consumed in a number of places. We can read an LGS file back into Cyclone. So if you want to move data very, very quickly across different continents or offices, you can send an LGS file. You can open up the LGS file in a variety of different software packages. So for CloudWorks supported ones. JetStream Enterprise, I said you can load the LGS back. We can load an LGS file to TruView Enterprise. We can load an LGS file into TruView Cloud, and it will take all the panoramic imagery in both those examples and all the measurement information and all the asset information and allow you to see those within that environment. And you can also, fundamentally, we have this free of charge JetStream viewer, and the LGS file can be opened up in there. We're gonna look at that very, very shortly. So this video here, when this plays, this is Infinity. So Infinity is our survey processing package. So where you've got GPS, you've got total station data, maybe you've got UAV data with the ABOT, you can do all your post-processing with Infinity. And what we've added in the last release now, because obviously this supports point clouds from maybe the MS60 multi-station, maybe you've created point clouds from your UAV data. That data can now be exported using the publisher license from Infinity, and that data can then be used in exactly the same way as the LGS data published from anywhere else. This becomes a universal file type for Leica Geosystems that can be utilized across our suite of products and different parts of our business as well. So here you can see the point cloud loaded up in JetStream Viewer, and then that same LGS file opened up directly, in this instance in BricsCAD Ultimate. So that this is really just to highlight the fact that with the interconnectedness between all the different elements of the Leica Geosystems suites. So if you have Infinity, you have an up-to-date version and you want to get access to publishing LGS files out to be consumed elsewhere, contact us, and you'll need a publisher license in conjunction to be able to do that. But I think that's a really good step forward. So what can you do with each of the Publisher and the Publisher Pro licenses? This slide is designed for you almost to take a snapshot when it's all finished with, so that you can understand the key differences between them. So this is Cyclone Publisher. We can push out RCP files, LGS, E57 and other standard formats, and you can push out TruView Local, You can push out data to TruView Enterprise if you have a TruView Enterprise server, JetStream, and all the geotag and asset information. So that's the content that you can push from there. Now, what you then hopefully will realize is there is a lot more bubbles around the around Publisher Pro. So in addition to all of that, you can publish the selected setups, you can export by limit box, you can separately export all the panoramic imagery, the HDR imagery as high resolution panoramas, 5K panoramas. You can push out LAS files, and also all future development around publishing will be centered around Publisher Pro. And that will become apparent a little bit later as you wait for our one more or two more thing at the end of the presentation. So that is designed for you to make a decision as to which of the publishers you need. And I should note that we've completely looked at the pricing of both of these, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised in terms of where both of these come in terms of pricing in your local region. So talk to your local sales team to get information around Publisher Pro. So obviously we have Cyclone Publisher. It's a brand new license type, so there's no migration. But if you have, and this is vitally important for you, if you already have TruView Publisher, JetStream Publisher, or Publisher Pro, and you're under current CCP, you will be migrated to Publisher Pro free of charge. Okay, so this just highlights the fact that if you're under CCP, then you can move across. So if you have a TruView Publisher and a JetStream Publisher, you'll actually end up with 2 Publisher Pros. So this is just really important for you to take away from the presentation today. And what I should say as well is we've now made sure within Register 360 that publisher license and Publisher Pro license is only being utilized when you're utilizing it, when you're actually at the publishing stage. Before it was consumed when the package was open. This means you can move that publisher license onto different PCs or different suites. So you might have Reg 360 on one and Register on another, and you can use Publisher Pro without being tied to that one software. But that is a really interesting point and exciting point, I think, for any of you guys out there who've got publishers who want to access the features and functionality of Publisher Pro. And when we start rolling out all the roadmap stuff that's coming for Publisher Pro as well, it's going to become an even more exciting proposition. So JetStream family updates. Okay, so this is where we are with JetStream. I said before, JetStream is a server-based technology, so you can push directly and publish directly to the JetStream Enterprise server. But we have this JetStream viewer, and I really want to show you JetStream viewer if you haven't already seen it. I know a lot of you have, but there are some new features and functionality. So I'm just going to jump into initially. I think I'll probably jump into this one. Now, this is a slightly older data set, so I haven't actually updated the markers on this one, so you'll see that the standard yellow cheese heads. But the first thing that we can do, this is a plant data set, is I'm going to show you the new clipping function. So now we can manually create a clip box or create a clip box by size, which you specify up here. But if I say manually create clip box, I've now got clip box functionality within the JetStream viewer, which is brand new. I can move this up and down. I can just grab these accordingly and just drill down to the data that I'm actually interested in. If I hold down the Shift key, I can access the back side of that limit box to bring it in accordingly. Okay, so that's your limit box. Now, if you're happy, you can save that limit box. You just say accept, and that will save it for the session. It doesn't write anything back to the LGS file or anything. It will just save it for this session in particular. So there now is your limit box, and I can just now click on one of these scan positions and jump into the scan position, and you can see I'm now in an RTC 360 data set of some plants, and what you can see as well is all of the little geotags. Now, all of these geotags have been collected with Cyclone Field 360, and then they follow the data downstream into Register or Register 360, and then when you publish, they get published out into the LGS file so they can be read in other parts of our suite. So now what happens if I hover over any of my geotags, we can see the asset very, very quickly, a quick preview. And then if we're happy, maybe you want to open that data so you can see there's some text. We click that, the side panel pops open, and we can actually view that asset completely independently. So we can see that geotag. And obviously these are all sitting in the right location. So that is the new geotag preview functionality. Now I'm just going to quickly nip across to this data set here. So this is data set collected with the BLK to go by our French team. Now this is how you often enter into JetStream Viewer. I think I've said it previously, but JetStream Viewer is free of charge. There is an installable version, and there is also a portable version. So you can install this on every machine if you want. free of charge. But the portable version just means you can put the project and the portable version on a USB stick and allow someone to run this without having to install anything, which means you can access maybe a lot more customers. So this is the site plan. This is with the BLK to go, and you can see as I zoom in and out, you can see all of these icons changing. But if I now just double click on any one of these scan positions, I've got it actually set in the intensity mode. So I'm just going to switch to colors from scanner. I'm going to turn off the point cloud, and what you can see is some French colleagues walking around testing it, but you can also see now the panoramic images from the BLK to go, plus all those other scan positions, and plus the ability to review. Now, what was quite nice here, and I'm just going to go back into a point cloud view, and I'm going to zoom out, is the limit box functionality. Is you can still see that when you're in one of those bubble views. So if I just say manually click clipbox, I'm just going to drill that down and I'm going to pull that up to something like that, let's say, and I'm just going to put it on in intensity. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into one of these scan positions. Okay, I'm just going to accept that clipbox, jump into one of these scan positions, and you can now see the clip alongside the panoramic image view, which I think is a really, really nice feature. So I'm just trying to think. We've done assets, we've done slices. Right, okay. I would like to show you now the snapshots, because I'm not sure some of you have seen snapshots before or used them. This is a quite nice entry point to a job, actually. This is done in Reg 360, so I've just pulled in some background mapping, which is free of charge, and I've used that to align our job. So this data set was completely non-georeferenced, but I've just put it roughly in the real world using that function. And I can go into any one of these scan positions. I can jump down and I'm now in this data set. Okay, so this is just having a look. There you go. Oh dear. Okay, there you go. We'll just have to open. We'll just open that again. That's probably because I've got far too many projects open. So Budapest Fountain. There you go. There you go. We'll just jump into one of these scan positions. There you go, fantastic. Okay, so probably because I've got so many iterations of the JetStream viewer open. So this is actually an RTC data set. But what we've done here on this side panel here that's hidden away, you can see we've got geotags, any geotags listed, any assets. So you've got the PDF report for the registration actually. If I double click on that, you can see that opens up the PDF directly, which is quite nice. But you've also got this snapshots tab. Now, what I can do in the snapshots tab is actually create snapshots very, very quickly. So I can, in the panoramic image view, I'm just going to create a snapshot, and I'm going to maybe add in some measurement information. So let's just put a quick measurement there, and maybe we'll add another snapshot. So, oops, we'll just maybe move to another view. And we'll create, so we're gonna delete this one actually, because we're going to move to another view before we do our first one. So we'll just move around to another position and we'll create another snapshot facing back here. So snapshot, and we'll just maybe add some text in this time. So we'll just put some text in here and just say, please mesh this model and send to me, ... There you go, so that's done. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we'll do one final snapshot over in another position. So we'll just go from this position, look up to this building, for example, and we will just add in another snapshot. This time we'll just draw a box around here and just type in, we'll just put some text in again and just say something like, I don't know, just say elevation required. There you go. So this is all stored. So once we're happy, what you can see now is we've got our 3 snapshots and we can jump between them, anything that we've created. So I'm just going to do that now. But you can also do an auto advance. You can actually say auto advance after 2 seconds. We'll do the same for each of these. So say auto advance after 2 seconds and auto advance after 2 seconds. And then we hit play. And that will now just jump between each of those snapshots. So you can create like a virtual tour within the LGS file really, really very quickly, and that will just auto advance. Now, what you can do is if you're using data that's hosted on a JetStream server, you can save the markups back to the server. But if you wanted to, now I'm just going to stop that, you can actually just say file save as back to, so save the project file to a new LGS. So it will save a new LGS file with all that snapshot information directly built in. So I think that's a really nice solution. So that's some of the updates with JetStream Viewer. The other thing we've done is we've added the ability to change the setup radius in here as well, so you can change that up and down, and you can also change these temperature and distance units here. And you'll also notice we have a viewer plugin tab. Now that'll become apparent later in the year, but the ability to actually load plugins directly within JetStream Viewer as well. So this is becoming a really, really nice entry point. And of course, you can give this to your clients, you can give it to your customers, you can give it to your colleagues, and they can open up that data set. And you can also, there's a button here that allows you to connect to a JetStream server. So there you go, that is the JetStream Viewer. So thank you for your attention on that one. Right, now this is where we are going to hand over to Nathan. So Nathan, I'm just checking the time as well. So Nathan is now going to do a demonstration consuming that LGS file into CloudWorks. So obviously we've published the data out and the LGS file is now floating wherever, on a server or on a hard disk. How do we then use it? So this digital handshake of Reg 360 across into our CloudWorks products. So we're going to look at CloudWorks 2020 for Revit. And at this point, I'll hand over to Nathan.
Thank you, Paul. I thought that was a very good explanation of a range of new features we have for our software. So moving on to CloudWorks, just to give a quick introduction of what CloudWorks is. CloudWorks is essentially our answer to a bolt-on to the CAD and BIM authoring packages. But today I'm going to focus on the updates within Revit. So we have 2D workflow for wall and room outlines. We have auto fitting tools such as wall fitters, window fitters and door fitters, improvements to our pipe fitters, and improvements to how we can navigate the point cloud within TruSpace, for example. So I'm just going to jump to my screen here. So now I'm in our Revit environment, and immediately you can see I'm on the CloudWorks tab. And what I'm able to do from here is tap into our LGS files that I have previously created. So I'm going to go to our house scan and open that up. So instantaneous loading of the LGS file. Now the reason I use the LGS file is because it holds the metadata, the geotag data, and the point cloud data all in one file, as Paul suggested earlier, but it also renders very quickly and is very clear data. So I'll just run over the features in CloudWorks very briefly. From the left, we have ways to import, as I've just shown, locally, but also from a server. We have ways to set levels, which will become apparent in a second, ways to clip and segment the data accordingly, and ways to auto-fit features such as pipe, wall, etc. There's very good rendering tools, so we can change to intensity mode or the true color mode if you had imagery turned on, and ways to slice up that data and extract polylines, for example. Moving on to clash managers for those construction workflows, and onwards to exporting points into families. So this is a semi-detached dwelling. To give you a bit of background about the job itself, it was captured with an RTC 360 upstairs and downstairs externally as well. It took from site to this product you see on the screen now about 1.5 hours. This is because of the speed of the RTC, but also the speed of the registration workflow as well. So the first thing I'm doing here is taking away all the data I don't need. So I just have the house in show. I can change this clip then to house. This means I can turn off the full site or just hone in on the house itself. The next thing I always do when I start a new project in Revit from a point cloud is create my levels. But to do this, I like to create a section. So using the clipping manager here, again, we have fencing tools, but we also have ways to clip across the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So if I take the x-axis and take a nice clean section through this whole building, as you can see here, I can now set my levels. Now you're probably wondering why my background is black and not white. Well, if I change to intensity view, it becomes very apparent. That point cloud stands out far better against a black background. You can change this in your settings over here. So the next thing I need to do is create my levels within Revit. So traditionally, how you would do this would be a manual process, but luckily using CloudWorks, we can set levels by point. So just by clicking the ceiling level there, I can go ground, floor, ceiling, for example. And automatically, this will create a ceiling plan. Now, this is important because everything in Revit is parametric. So for those of you who use Revit will understand this, but if you don't, basically Revit needs point A and point B to work. So what I'm creating here is point A and point B for my walls. So I'm creating my ground floor level as well. but it automatically creates floor plans for me, or ceiling plans, as you can see in the tree on the left here. So now that I've created my levels, if I jump into my elevation, like so, I'm automatically given the levels constrained within Revit. Now, traditionally, you would have to do these manually. Imagine I have a tower block, a very large building with lots of floors. This will help extract those levels for you very quickly. So now I'm happy with my levels. I'm just going to turn that slice off, jump back into my 3D view, and navigate to the area I want to work with today. So what I would like to do with you guys is model this run of wall, auto fit the window, auto fit the door, and all of this will be done through the auto fitted means. So the next thing I need to do is create a quick slice across the whole building to essentially have a top-down view, much like your True Slicer in Reg 360. So through a click of a button, I can use my slicing tools here, and I get a very nice clean set of slice across the whole building. Again, this data is with the RTC, low resolution inside, but it gives me very nice results. This has now been transferred to my clipping manager. So if I rename the old section slice, so I know which one I'm working with, note is turned off. And this one can be my ground floor slice, so I know which is which. If I change this to be, say, 300 mil, I will now get more points of coverage. I potentially don't want to hit this worktop in here in the kitchen, so if I move the points forward a bit, there we go, I can now auto fit my wall within this run here. So if I change to this wall tool here and choose the select 2 points method, there's a range of methods, but for this workflow, I'm going to do select 2 points because I want to pick the inner skin and the outer skin. I'm going to constrain the bottom of the wall to the ground floor level, all set by these levels that we've done within CloudWorks previously. Constrain the top to the ground floor ceiling, and I want to use the finished face exterior in this instance because I want the wall to be placed based on the finished face. If I hit the internal skin, the external skin, this will now give me a wall thickness. It's telling me the wall is 348 mil.1. I don't work to dims like this, so I'm going to be working to 350 mil to round it up. I'm going to change it to a default wall and override the name. The reason it's default, those of you that work in scan to BIM, you're not always given the make of the wall. If you're scanning an existing building, you don't necessarily know the inner leaf or the outer leaf. So I'm going to create that wall. So it's automatically placed that wall where I need it to be. I'm going to run this wall all the way down to the end of the building, and then I'm going to do the same here. But I'm also now going to model this section of wall here exactly the same way as I did previously. So again, I run into my auto fit wall, select 2 points, select ground floor ceiling, and use finish face exterior. It's exactly the same workflow. In internal, external, navigate to the standardized wall that I created earlier down here. There we go. So now I want to run this into the wall there. I'm going to jump back a step and just hide these elements for a second. The reason being, it will become apparent when I create the doors and the windows. So what I would like to do is create a fence for this door here. This will save into the clipping manager. Unhide. I want to also create a fence for the window. Clipping manager. Call this window, like so. And then turn everything back on and hide all elements. Perfect. So now that I have all my views set up, I want to start to model the doors and the windows. Turn this back off. There we go. So I still have the slice turned on, and if I turn this slice off and turn the door slice on, you're probably wondering where the door has gone, but if I click the wall, now I just have a clear point cloud of the door that I want to model. Now, if I go to my door fitting tool and highlight the fence tool rather than 2 points, the reason I've made this point cloud honed in on the door is so that I'm not picking up any points that I do not want. So if I use the fence tool, I can very easily highlight around the door. It's going to give me a standardized type, so it's looking to me to be an 875 door by 240 in this instance. Create new type. Straight away, it's automatically placed that door correctly for me. So moving on, we can now go back to our clipping manager, turn the door off, turn the window on, click the window, and we should be able to do the same workflow here. One 1785, 10, we'll go 1065. Like so. So now we have successfully modeled all these elements without me having to really do much work at all, other than jumping in and out the clipping manager. So you can see here, there's our door, there's our window, etc., etc. But what I can also do is jump into the true color of the point cloud, like so. But I can also turn the point cloud off. There you go. So the next thing I'm going to do is jump into another demonstration very quickly, revolving around auto fitting columns. So if you bear with me, I'm going to open up a new LGS file. If you have any questions, please just drop them in the box. So I'm going to open up a larger LGS file. And this time I'm going to show the true space functionality. There's a load of columns running down this building. We'll model them quite quickly, hopefully. So I'm going to jump into this true space. Those of you, I'm based in Manchester, you might recognize very quickly where this point cloud is. So as you can see, this is in the Manchester United Hospitality Suite. What I'm able to do is navigate within the point cloud as if I'm on the scanner position, much like Paul showed you earlier within JetStream and TruView. It's by far the easiest way to navigate a point cloud. So I want to model all these columns here. So if I jump to this column tool, there's going to be a quick upgrade because I've got the latest release of Revit. And I'm going to go round column. Okay, but I'm not going to use the Revit window. I'm going to use this window in TruView here. So if I click here, it's going to jump a new window and it's going to want me to create a column that's 690 mil in diameter. I'm happy with that. I'm going to create the column. I'm going to create another one here. It looks to me to be a standardized column type, so I'm just going to use the last one I created. Again, here, standardized again here, standardized again, and then we've got 4 columns very quickly placed. So I'm going to highlight these 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm going to jump back to my 3D view, and I'm going to go into true space again. This time I'm going to jump into thing. That's not where I wanted to go. So if I just jump back to here and go back to 5, you can see how you can quickly navigate the point cloud very easily. So if I jump back to the scan position I was in and take a look at these columns this time, and they look to me to be varying sizes, so it's not going to be as standard as last time. So if I jump back to the column tool, round column, and click here, like so, create new type. It looks to me to be a 910 column. Click this column. This one looks to be a 825 column, so you've got to be careful. Check this box. Not all the columns are going to be the same size. and then again on this column here. And as we predicted, there are standard columns sometimes, so I can use this 825 because it's the nearest number to the 826.3, like so. Again, 1, just to show you, 2, 3. Now I'm going to navigate down the center of this building, like so, and finish off the 2 last columns. If I was using the traditional means of point clouds and modeling, I'd probably still be on the first column, in all honesty. So if I hit column, round column, select this column on the left, 817, we'll go with an 820. Go with the one on the right. Looks to me to be standardized again, and I'm happy with that. So now we need to check that all of our point columns have come in correctly. So if I go to this right view here, back view, I'm going to take a slice across the whole building, like so. I'm going to render it to the intensity view. These are all the tools I've taught you about in the previous demonstration. I'm going to change my clip to be roughly, let's have a think, 600 mil. And then I'm going to use my 3D navigation. And there you can see very nicely the point cloud aligned with the columns. Yeah, this is almost like a true slicer. This is just a sanity check. And if I jump back into 3D view 2, you could even look at it quite close up. That's the end of the column demonstration, but I do have one more little element to show you. It's quite on theme. We're all potentially remote working or working from home. So what I'm going to actually do now is, instead of tap into a local file, tap into a server over in Germany and drag some data from that server within the JetStream enterprise application built into CloudWorks. Bear with me, I am streaming this to you live as well, so there is some strain on the internet. And here I can see a range of different data sets, from BLK data to RTC data, but I'm going to show you some BLK data today. Just to reiterate, none of this is held on my computer. This is live streamed from a server in Germany. And in a couple of moments, you'll see the BLK data on the screen. There we go. So in real time, I can navigate this data just like I was with the LGS file. So just to give you a quick overview of what the BLK Go data looks like. If I put a slice across this building for you, there you go, very nice. So there you go, very nice data. We can still draft all these walls quite easily. And again, all these functions are the same, just like your LGS file. Thank you very much for watching. I'm now going to pass you back to Paul Burrows, and if you have any questions, please just drop them in the box. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, Nathan. That was a fantastic session, I'm sure you'll agree. But today we don't want to have just one more thing. We are going to show you 2 more things, and hopefully you're going to enjoy this next part of the session. So the first product that I want to talk about is Cyclone FieldWorks. So FieldWorks is a brand new tablet-based application which connects to the P-series scanners. So it's a simple tablet-based, touch-based workflow working on Windows tablets. It's built on the power of Cyclone Register. It's very, very easy to connect directly to your devices. As I said, P-series laser scanners with a wired Ethernet connection directly to the scanner. And it offers incredibly fast on-site registration. So I'm going to go through this process now, and I'm going to show you the feature, but it offers instantaneous results, and it allows you to extract the targets and georeference that data set with a control file, but also on the back end, export the data directly from the tablet device in E57 or PTS format. So here's the typical workflow. You would get your survey control from a total station, or maybe you have a site grid and you've got a CSV ready to go, and you would load that onto your Windows tablet device. Then you've got your P series with your tablet. You connect and you start a scan. Automatically extract the targets. If there's any requirement to edit or amend those targets after the automatic extraction, you can. Then you select the control file and you register against the control file. You check those results on board the device, and then you can push that data out the back end. It's incredibly simple. So I think I believe, we obviously have done market research, and there is a desire for this workflow for customers to use an engineering grade scanner such as the P series to very, very quickly get the data out in a universal format. So this is the interface, really, really nice. Like I said, very very much touch enabled. So you can very simply navigate around those tools to produce your end results. And this little video now, which will play, will just go through that process and give you an indication. So here's that first step of collecting your TXT file, your CSV file. Easting, northing elevation, northing, easting elevation, depending which part of the world you're in. Then you can select an existing project, or you can create a new project. And then, as I said before, they're all the various methods of extraction and the tools that you have. Then you choose your scan resolution, your min-max range, your export format, and then you start collecting the data. So this will then show you that process of connecting to the scanner and collecting the data. So you press OK. And then it will download the data. So once it's done the scan, P series is very, very quick, up to 1 million points per second. We'll download that data directly to the device. And then you'll see the point cloud being shown. So what you can see is the targets have then automatically been extracted. But if for any reason a target hasn't been extracted, so you can see here we're just panning around to part of this tunnel, you can zoom in and you can use the tool here to actually analyze and insert a vertex in the right location. Then you just navigate. So you're using the select control, you navigate to that TXT file that you've loaded, press OK, and then you perform the registration. It gives you the registration results. And then as a final step, once you're happy, you say approve, and it will push the E57 file. There you go. So we're now exporting the E57 file for that job. So that's georeference E57 file directly from Leica Cyclone FieldWorks. So that is number one. Now, number two, this is my one more thing. Number two is the JetStream viewer update, which is coming very, very soon. And I'm personally very, very excited to see that. And that is models in JetStream viewer. So we've already got all the point cloud, the panoramas and everything like that, but we will now have the ability to bring in IFC files and OBJ files directly alongside our reality capture data sets and visualize them in context. So this is there's actually a screenshot from a working example, the Hexagon House in Milton Keynes, and you can see the point cloud data in the background, I think captured with a mix of P series and mobile data. But you can scale it, you can rotate it, and here it is, in situ effectively alongside the point cloud, but it's all about that drag, drop, done mentality. You open up the viewer, you drag your IFC file in. If it's in the right location, if it's georeferenced, then it will just come directly aligned, or you can use the tools within JetStream Viewer to do that. So you can view your design model against your rich reality capture data. You can measure any clearances, and you can use all the tools within the JetStream Viewer to view that, to check that data. You can inspect the data and you can add any tags. Obviously, you can then share that data out with your customers and colleagues. And as I said before, this is supporting IFC and OBJ files. So I can't give you a definitive date, but thank you very much to Fahim for allowing me to show you that, guys, because we've got, I will say now, a record number of attendees in this session today, from at least from the series webinar sessions, to the point where we were worried about the capacity of the room. So hopefully you've stayed on, hopefully you've seen that announcement, and that will obviously be part of the sort of the Publisher Pro aspect of when I say about all future developments moving forwards. So here is what we looked at today. Obviously, going back to the beginning of the presentation, Cyclone Field 360 and the published to TruView Cloud. Then we looked at Register 360 and the BLK edition, the differences between the two and the various new functions within that solution. We talked about group visual alignment and the new TrueSlicer QA check within Cyclone Register. We talked about the new publisher landscape, so this new model of Cyclone Publisher and Cyclone Publisher Pro, and what that means to you, and a migration path. So if you need or feel you can migrate, then do get in contact with us and we'll help you with that. Nathan, fantastic presentation. Hopefully you couldn't tell that we're working hundreds of miles apart, using this wonderful thing we call the internet, all working from our homes at this moment in time. So Nathan, that was a fantastic presentation. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Cyclone FieldWorks, that's coming very, very soon, and also models in JetStream Viewer. So I mean, a lot to take in today. Apologies if I talk very quickly. We're obviously trying to keep to time, but already I can tell you we're already 10 minutes over our allotted time. So hopefully everyone has managed to stay on. So who to talk to if you need some help? If you're in the UK, please talk to Nathan. So this is Nathan, to put a face to the name again. You can contact him via email. You can message him. He's available on LinkedIn as well. He's very, very proactive in this regard. If you go straight to Nathan, and then we will disseminate to the relevant account managers as needed. If you're in other regions, and we have a huge number of people in different countries, then please contact your local selling unit or your local dealer, and obviously make them aware of everything that you've learned and what you would like to learn more of from today's session. So please do contact Nathan. I'm going to quickly look at the questions. As far as I can see, all of them have been answered. So I want to say thank you very much to Klaus. So we won't have a Q&A session because all of them have been answered directly throughout the call today, and we're over time. So just wrapping up, I would like to say thank you very much. Thank you for continuing to support these. I know it's an unusual time for everyone right now, and there's a lot of people who are still working. Take this time to say thank you to everyone who is still working to keep everyone safe. You know, I have the benefits of working from home, as do a lot of Leica staff, and we do not take it lightly that there's people out there putting their lives on the line for us on a daily basis to try and keep us all safe at this very, very unusual time in the world. So, but hopefully we can bring some light and joy into your life with these presentations. We'll continue to bring them to you. Hopefully the situation will change and be better over the next few weeks and months as we do more of these, but please continue to support these. There will be a recording. Feel free to share that with your colleagues and friends afterwards, and we'll try and make some tidbits of information available post the event as well. So once again, thank you very much. Have a fantastic afternoon wherever you are, or morning in some places, and we'll catch up very, very soon. So take care.